Good morning. Welcome to the Woodward Fire press briefing. Today is Monday, August 24th. My name is Mary Rasmussen, and I'm the Information Officer for Northern Rockies Team 2. I'd like to thank Sergeant Breton Schneider and Marin County for setting up this format and also for continuing to help us support this format and to bring you information on the fire to the public and to the media. Today, we're at Incident Command Post at the Port Reyes National Seashore. Because the incoming team brings a lot more staff and resources, we are outgrowing this facility, and we will be transitioning our Incident Command Post to the Old San Geronimo Golf Course this afternoon and tomorrow morning. So I wanted to point out a couple of things. Today we are streaming on Marin County Facebook page. Tomorrow there will be a change to that, and we will be doing so under the Port Reyes Seashore Facebook page, and the county will be linking to that. We started an evening update last night, and we put it on the Seashore Facebook page. We did get a few comments that it didn't automatically simultaneously go to the other social media formats and Twitter. So we are making that change, and will hopefully be simultaneous. We also have set up a live phone line. We've set up a new information phone line, and we will have information officers who will be answering the phone and answering your questions. Another thing we've added is we've set up a INCIWeb page for the Woodward Fire. INCIWeb is a web-based format where you can find information on fires all over the country. So we will be putting information on there daily, and we'll be adding some photos and videos to that. There's going to be a slide at the end of this briefing, which will have information for Facebook and the new Facebook link, and for INCIWeb. Today on the agenda, we have Operations Section Chief Mike Granger, who is going to give a brief overview of operations, and we also have Marin County Fire Chief Jason Weber. So I'd like to turn it over to Mike Granger.
Good morning. Like Mary said, this is Mike Granger, Operations Section Chief for the Northern Rockies Incident Management Team, and we're a Type 1 Incident Management Team, and we were called in to support the local efforts that were ongoing with this incident. So I want to say first, some fantastic work was done by the local crews in Marin County, the Park Service, as far as working on this fire during the initial attack phase of this incident. They did some fantastic work, and then the reception that we've had from the folks and the firefighters has been fantastic. So kudos to those individuals that were involved of all of that. So like Mary said, we have assumed command of the fire itself, and so what I'm going to do today is go around the incident itself and talk about the operational strategies and tactics that are ongoing on this fire. So we'll start down in Division Whiskey, and on these fires we break them up into divisions and give them a name. And so Division Whiskey is the southeast portion of the fire itself, and the fire has been moving towards Bear Valley Trail, and we have 2 Type 1 crews working in there currently trying to button this southeast movement of this fire to Bear Valley Trail. Operations in there yesterday went quite well, and I'm optimistic that we should get around the forward movement of that fire in there today, if the weather doesn't change on us. Also on Bear Valley Trail, the previous team that was in here did some really good work as far as prepping this line with the thought that this fire would continue moving towards that trail. We have continued with the prepping of that line, and that is looking pretty good. But the fire, we do have active fire along this perimeter here, with the thought that this fire will continue moving towards this prep line and trail. The terrain in here is very steep. This area has not seen fire in maybe forever, but it's very dense, very difficult for crews to get around in here. And so the actions that we're taking here are direct. The actions that we're going to take in this portion of the fire are going to be indirect, and we're prepping the lines for that indirect activity and the indirect suppression that we'll take on that fire. Moving on around the fire to Division Tango, we have the meadow trail that is existing within the park itself. That we're looking at prepping the meadow trail, putting in possibly a retardant line and a dozer line in there to be able to control the movement of the fire towards the north, towards the facility here that I'm standing at, as well as Inverness Park. So as we move on around the fire to Division Echo is off of the perimeter of the fire itself. And the reason we have that is so the Division Soup and the crews inside of Division Echo can prep an indirect line. And that indirect line preparation is ongoing today, as well as it was started yesterday. Yesterday, the most active portion of the fire was up in here where we call H1 or Hellespot 1 on the northern perimeter of the fire as it gets closer to Lemontor Road. It got pretty active in there. We had some short range spotting and movement of fire up some of the open ridges. It was being pushed by the wind. As the wind and the terrain aligned, it allowed that fire to move rapidly up those slopes. We were able to stop the spread of that fire with the super scoopers, as what we call them, as well as the helicopters. We had the scoopers flying over that all day long, multiple hours. Local folks mentioned that to me last night in town, that they was seeing those scoopers flying all day long. They did a fantastic job stopping the movement of that fire, but it is pressing our control lines. Myself and the local fire chief and sheriff, we sat up there on top of the hill as this was moving yesterday, and we were able to establish some management action points, basically that determines what actions we'll take after the fire gets to a certain point. If it crosses that line, the actions that we will take. The sheriff and local sheriff, the sheriff and the local fire chief will talk about that here in a little bit. As far as the fires moving around in Division Charlie, we had bulldozers in there for the last 2 days, putting in a direct line. That operation is continuing, and I'm optimistic that we will have that line, a direct line around the west perimeter of the fire as it gets down to the Division Charlie Zulu break. Down here in Zulu, a lot of good work was done before we got here, and we have established a division break in here, but that is looking pretty good. As you can see on the map, this is all black. That means controlled line. It helps that you have the Pacific Ocean here, and so that was definitely a good job by everyone that was working along in here. So as far as the fire itself, we're in a red flag warning today, so we are cognizant of what the potential is, and we have crews up on the line prepared for that. We have aircraft flying right now, and hopefully we can put this indirect line in today, and we'll be looking a lot better after today's operational period.
Morning, everyone. Mike, thank you. Mary, thank you. Having the incident management team here is a relief for us that have been here since last week. They bring a lot of talent, a lot of resources. I think it's important to note, though, the state is still extremely drawn down, over 1.2 million acres burning across the state. So we are challenged with the number of resources that are available, that bulldozers, fire engines, aircraft, etc. It's being prioritized on a statewide level. We're fortunate that we've been getting the air support, and we've got a good plan thanks to Mike and his team coming in and working with us. Last night, we're also grateful that the lightning and associated weather with that didn't materialize, which was helpful. We're making good progress on this. As Mike talked about, I'm not going to get into the operations piece. I know all of you are interested in that, and I think Mike's briefing was perfect. We understand the stress this puts on all of you as a community. We're there for you, and the men and women that are out there on the front line are doing everything they can to protect you. The fire information line that for County Fire will be connected and have information to link to Mary's team to make sure we keep you updated and these regular briefings occur. And I want to thank them for that because I know all of you are interested in that. So we stand together as a community across, with firefighters from across the nation here to protect all of you. And we're making good progress and certainly appreciate your patience as we work through this. And we'll be here until it's over. So I'll turn it back over to Mary, and thank you all.
Okay, in conclusion, I wanted to give you a little information on the fire. The current acres stand at 2,487, and that is a reduction from what you heard yesterday, and that is due to more accurate mapping. There's 5% containment, and total personnel on the fire are 228 people. Thank you very much for tuning in, and this concludes our briefing.